What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna go over drift fitment because I get so many messages about my specs for my alignment. So we're gonna go into it, why I do it, and what it means to have a certain specifications for your camber, caster, and toe. So let's get into it. Wait, did it even open? There we go. It's really foggy today. That is so weird. All right, first we're going to talk about camber. Camber is the way the wheel sits from the top position. So when the top of the wheel is pointing in, just like that, that is negative camber. When it's perfectly straight, that is 0. When it's all the way out away from the car, that is positive camber. With drifting, as you can see, it is slightly cambered in, and I believe this is around -4. And with drifting, you want to be around -4, -6, -4 to -6, or even lower than that. And the reason is when you're drifting, your wheel is going to turn, and as it turns, the face of the wheel is slowly going to come back out, and so you're going to want grip as you turn, as you counter steer in the drift. So I'm going to start my car, turn the wheel, and show you what it looks like when I'm at full lock. All right, so I am looking straight at the wheel, and as you can see, the face of the wheel is no longer cambered in. It's actually slightly positive out, and that's because I'm not running that much camber. But the more camber you run at full lock, it's going to come back out. So you'll see there's more contact when you're sideways. All right, so here's a better look at it. So you can see it's slightly positive now. So the more camber you run, the more positive it will come back out at full lock. So you want to have that mixed balance, because you have too much camber, you're not going to have enough bite when you're throwing it sideways, and if you have too little camber, you're not going to have enough grip when you're going sideways. So you have to have that medium balance, and I like it just like this. All right, to adjust camber on the IS300, you have a couple options. So one is probably the most expensive way, because no one really makes a custom arm or an arm, aftermarket arm. You have to get it welded by a professional, but this was cut right here and welded, and so you got to find a shop willing to do that. It is a little bit dangerous if it's not properly welded and heated. So one, extend the lower, or two, shorten the upper. So people usually buy JZX arms, and it's actually shorter, so it'll bring the top of the wheel in. And also I run 17s because I do have an angle kit, and so when people have issues with the wheel rubbing right here, if you are running 18s or hitting right here, or you can't see, but I used to hit inside there when I was running 18s. So, and you have to run a really low offset, because with the really high offset, you're going to be hitting your control arm. So I have a lot of space, nothing's hitting. All right, so let's talk about the caster. All right, so the caster is the position of the wheel forward and backwards. So if the wheel is a little bit more forward, that's positive caster. If the wheel is farther back, that's negative caster. And it all depends on your coilover. So your coilover is right here. It's always going to be at a slight angle like that. And the more positive caster you have, the more angle it's going to go like that. Negative caster, the coilover is going to be at this angle. And so with drifting, you want to have it as far forward as possible. You actually get more self-steer. So that means when you're drifting, the steering wheel will want to return back to the center by itself. And the more positive caster there is, the faster it will do it. So that way, when you're transitioning, you can let go of the steering wheel, grab it back, and continue drifting. All right, toe is probably kind of the more common one that everybody knows. Toe is the direction the wheel is facing. So if the wheel is facing this way, that's toe out. If the wheel is facing this way, it's toe in. The wheel is perfectly straight, it's 0. For me, I keep it at 0, toe 0, best control for me. Some people do slightly toe out for a little more initiation, but if you're just starting out, 0 toe will work just fine. All right, the rears have the same suspension in the front. So the adjustment is kind of the same. The measurements are the same, but the way you adjust it is differently. But let me show you what specs you should aim for when you're drifting. All right, for the rear camber, you ideally want to go for as zero as possible. So right now I think it's at -2, but you want to get it to zero, perfectly straight, perfectly flat. And that's to maximize all the grip on the tire when you're sideways. The more grip, the faster you can drive sideways. I know it sounds weird, but more grip is better for drifting. Yep, and for toe, same thing in the front, keep it zero. Once you get a little bit better and understand your car a little bit better, you can do a toe in, and that's gonna maximize grip when your car squats and you're going sideways. The car will toe out a little bit, but for now, keep it at zero. It's your best bet when you're learning. So zero camber, zero camber, zero toe in the rear. All right, so ideally for the front, you're gonna want to have -4 to -6 to -7, depending on, you know, the wheels you run, how wide you're running, your power level. But for a stock IS300, the stock tire size is more than enough grip. -4 is pretty good with my angle kit. I could run a little bit more. I might want to go to -5, but when IS300s have caster adjustment from factory, so the more camber you put into your car, the more negative camber you put into your IS300, it takes out caster. So they work simultaneously. I can't really show you in a diagram, but the less camber you take, or the more camber you take out, so the more positive camber you try to make your car, the more caster you'll gain. So my lower control arms are set at full positive, and with the extended lower control arms I get around -4. So my lower control arms are maxed out positive, while with extended lower control arms it gives me at -4, but that gives my caster around 7 and 8. And ideally for drifting, you want to keep your caster above 7, so that way your steering wheel centers and returns back. So because you really want to be able to drive, throw the car, let go of the steering wheel and transition, because that's an easy way to drift. You don't want to be steering it back and forth with your hand, because that's how you crash and get in accidents. That's how you not recover. So make sure you go to the alignment guy that knows what he's doing. Most alignment shops like Firestone or the regular tire shops will only do toe. They will have no idea how to adjust camber or what settings to put your camber in, and most of them probably won't even know how to adjust caster. So I really recommend taking it to a shop that knows exactly what he's doing. My alignment guy actually had an IS300, and he knows how to properly adjust it. He knows how to use his alignment rack. He's a really great alignment guy. For a guy that doesn't normally work on race cars, he sure knows a lot about alignment. So really recommend finding the right spot. If you are having trouble finding an alignment guy, I recommend finding a shop that works on sports cars, because they would know. Don't just go to a regular tire shop and try to get a drift alignment, because they're gonna mess up your car. It's gonna feel like shit. So alignments are super important for drifting. The front, I'm gonna go over it again. Front, zero toe, -4 camber, +7 caster. The rear is zero toe, zero camber. And trust me, you're gonna like that setup, especially if you're starting out. From there, you can adjust the way you drive, but for me, that works great. I'm gonna leave it at that, and let's keep driving. All right, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to, go out and drive and have fun. So I'll see you guys out there drifting, or if not, I'll see you in the next video. So if you see me drifting, you see me at an event, say hi, because I need some drift friends. So thank you guys for watching, and peace.